America, and welcome to Invent America, because America invents.
This episode of Invent America TV is brought to you by America's Inventor Lady and Home Talk USA. Home Talk is a proud member of the King's Broadcasting Network and has been bringing to you the best of America's home-based product innovation since 1998. This segment of Invent America TV is brought to you by the law offices of R.P. Baraska. RPB law offices have been bringing corporate-level legal expertise to the independent inventor community for more than 20 years. For all your inventing legal needs, trust rpblawoffices.com.
Welcome. That's right. This is the Invent America show right here on Invent America Radio and the Home Talk USA Radio Network. I do want to welcome a new affiliate down in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, WYXI 107.1 FM in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, a new radio affiliate that's joining our family. I want to welcome all of you. I hope we don't give you guys a culture shock here on Home Talk USA. We've had some great response out in the Hattiesburg, Mississippi area. But hey, welcome to the Invent America show with the inventor lady herself, Invent America Radio, Miss Rita Crompton. Rita, hello.
Hello, how are you today?
Well, I want to put a big shout out to you. You had to fill in last week for me because we had some technical issues with Marvell. Came down and said, hey, we're going to have to rewire your office, your internet, your telephone lines, and I was out of pocket last week. And boy, I tell you, Rita, they don't give you a notice. I tell you, they don't tell you, give you a week notice. They just pull up and all your stuff goes black. You know what I mean?
I do, really. I really do, because it's happened to us multiple times. And wasn't that long ago. It was in December that I was driving down the highway like crazy to get to a signal to tell you that I didn't have a signal. So yeah, been there, done that.
Well, we put also a big shout out 2 weeks ago, as you know, at the first of the year, Home Talk USA became the longest running syndicated radio program in radio history. Unfortunately, we had the passing of a competitive show, and great show, great guy. And from the Money Pit, I mentioned the show. He put a lot of education, and he died unexpectedly, and they decided to pull the show. And boy, I hated to be on a somber note to get, that way. But hey, we're gonna pick up where he left off. We're gonna provide education and information, but we're gonna do it on steroids.
There you go.
we're gonna hit it on steroids, and we're gonna give a big shout out to him and all his staff and people, and thank him for all the years, 30 years. He was just a little ahead of me, and but now we became a little in advance. But hey, like going on in Invent America. Now, we have some new radio affiliates, a whole bunch of them are now joining us. I might not be familiar with your show, which is, hour number 2 here on the Home Talk USA Radio Network, Invent America. So let's just go a little bit about what the show's about for them and how it really helps these young developers of products and technology, how to get it to market. You know what I mean?
Well, what we really try to do is one, let inventors know what are the right steps and contacts so that they don't get taken advantage of in the early steps. And then we let all the consumers, all those listeners out there know what are the cool new products that are coming your way. Some of them are just getting into the production mode. Eric's going to be on with me today. He's going to be talking about the deal that he's made and getting the product out there. Ron's product has been out there, and he's getting ready to start over and do it again. So, these inventors need everyone to know what the products are that they're trying to invent, and the consumers need to know what to go asking for. Because they can really help American innovation if they ask, what's coming down the pike, and I want one of those.
Well, we've broken down this tree into different branches, step by step. We started at the bottom, watched the tree grow, and we cover it, and equate to each limb is a different part of the road to these potential products and entrepreneurs and developers to get their product to market and actually put on shelves, so to speak. But we talked about one of the benefits, or one of the things that don't come up, but that it's never considered, is the marketing part of it, which we've talked about. But I need to tell you, in conversation, it's another one that really never comes up is the licensing part of this part. The process of licensing is the most important part, because if you don't have protection, or you're going to get your stuff stolen. It's just as simple as that.
Well, for a lot of inventors, when they get the idea and then they go to, a class on a Saturday morning at the Chamber of Commerce, the SBA, somebody offering a class, and they go, oh, you start a business, do a business plan, blah, blah, blah. You don't have a business yet. How can you do a business plan? So it's like, do these first steps. Well, when I find out they paid somebody to do a business plan for them, it's like, oh my goodness, that's $1,500 you needed to be able to use on your prototype. The idea of licensing, and rarely do inventors get taught at an early stage about licensing, is that somebody is renting the right to use your patent. So they're going to pay for the manufacturing and the sales and marketing, and send a royalty check. And for most inventors, they just want to make some money. They know that their area of expertise is they came up with the idea, they've got a day job, they like using their product in their day job, but it's not big business and it's not sales and marketing. So how do they do this? Well, a licensee is going to make it, sell it, pay for the product liability insurance, but they're usually the ones that have the leverage to get it on the shelf. And I smile when I say that word leverage, because my industry expert, Mike Ryan, that's one of his favorite words. And we use the word leverage to help inventors understand, you can't get onto the store shelf yourself. Those, in those big box stores, they're consignment shops. And then when you do, and someone steals your idea, you can be, bankrupt and not even be able to fight it. But the licensee does fight it, and they fight it on your behalf. So for a lot of inventors, that's just really key.
But I've talked to a lot of inventors just like you did, and the biggest problem is for them to let go of their pet peeve. It's to let it go. And that's the biggest problem. And I asked them, are you going to license this thing, or are you going to manufacture and produce and distribute it yourself? And because it's their baby, it's their world. They develop it, and they don't want anybody to touch it. But at the end of the day, I have what my golden rule is. If you have one product, license it. That's my goal. Yeah. That's my personal golden rule. You got one product, license, get rid of it. Take your check, have fun, let the whole world buy it, get your little check once a month in the mail, and then go do something else or invent something else. But if you're going to manufacture and produce, you want multi products available. You don't want to be a one-trick pony. You understand?
Right.
But then you have, I'm sorry, Reed, but then you also have some of your clients that say, okay, I have 10 or 12, but I've licensed all 10 and 12. But there's nothing wrong with that neither, because that person developed, he's moving on and he's going to get something else, and he's got some big checks, right?
Well, one of the guys that I've got out of Colorado, he's got several things that he licensed and he's invented and manufacturing. But then one that is still in the ballpark of what he has invented, but it's in a completely different industry. He wants to license that one, and that makes sense. So when we look at, licensing as being, an option for inventors, it's a serious option. Now, they get 5% of wholesale is the average. Yeah. And, we've had inventors that say, oh, well, I deserve more than that. It's like, not when somebody else is doing all the heavy lifting. Yeah. Be grateful you get to go and make a deposit at the bank, as opposed to constantly making withdrawals. So we see, inventors, man, they learn the hard way sometimes. They'll get to a level and they can't get past it. And they've missed an opportunity. It's the secret in life is to not be too greedy. And, a good invention is like a child. You conceive it, you nurture it, it sucks you dry, you throw it out. Yeah. Well, and until you throw it out, it will not grow up and be big and take care of you.
Well, I call it that game show mentality. How many times you watch a game show and you don't think the producers of this game show know the contestant that's on? They always look for the greedy contestant that has 400,000 banked already, and they can walk with 400,000 to their house, but they want to draw that next case. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, like the other day, I watched they had 1 cent. They had actually 330,000. But that's the point I'm trying to make is the greedy contestant always loses.
Yep.
Always 99 out of 10. Man, if they tell me I got 400,000, I don't care if I want it in 5 minutes of this show. You better go get another contestant. I'm getting my money and I'm going home. I don't care if I got $1 million. I got $400,000 coming to me. And time the government's going to take 50%. I'm still walking away with 200 grand. Man, I'll take that in a minute.
Yep.
Look, a smart guy told me a long time ago, and even in sales, I have a thing called love the one you're with. And I want to talk about that because that's so important. All right. Well, you're listening to the Invent America show. We got to take a short break. We got to hear from some of our sponsors right here on the Invent America Radio Network on Home Talk USA. We'll be right back. Yay!
This segment of Invent America TV is brought to you by SearchQuest Patent Search. SearchQuest provides for a comprehensive patent search that searches the entire world and not just the U.S. Patent Office. Make sure that before you spend those big bucks having a patent written, you've done your due diligence by getting a comprehensive patent search. Use SearchQuestPatents.com for all your patent search needs. They scour the world for you.
Welcome back to the Invent America show. This is Invent America Radio on the Home Talk USA Radio Network. Man, I tell you what, I just opened up a whole new can of worms with these radio affiliates. We have another old radio affiliate that's been with us well over 20 years, WOMI 1490 AM, 99.1 FM in Owensboro, Kentucky. Man, I opened up a can of worms with these affiliates because I said I did it with Connecticut, and all of a sudden they pounding in on me right now. Say, what about me? Hey, I love all y'all. Thank y'all for carrying Home Talk, Rita. But we have a sponsor, man. But we need sponsors. Who's sponsoring this hour, right?
I know. It is Wooden Wood. If you have got gutters on your house, oh yeah, everybody's got gutters on their house. We need gutters.com. They will help move that water exactly where you need it moved so it's not running down against the base of your house. We need gutters.com. Mike Wood, awesome guy. And these are really easy to install. I've done it.
Right.
Me do my own self, as my grandson would teach me. And my guest right now is Eric Barnhart. All right. Got a cool new product called Bumpin Belts. And so, Eric, thanks for being with us. Mike, are you ready to rock and roll here so that Eric and I can get started?
You got it, buddy.
All righty. There we go. Just checking with the boss. All right. King Productions is our boss. So, Eric, thanks so much for being with us today. Tell everybody, what is Bumpin Brand and Bumpin Belt?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Rita. And Bumpin Belts is a product I invented. Avid golfer, really enjoy being outside and listening to music as well. And so, notice that, music was starting to become a little bit more acceptable on the golf course. And me and my buddies will have used to have a speaker sitting in the golf cart, listening to some tunes as we enjoy our round, making sure that obviously we're not impeding on anybody else's round of golf and whether they like to listen to music or not, but really just for our own personal space. And so the idea was born on a golf course. Really, how can I take my music outside of the golf cart and with me? Typically, when I'm trying to make the long trek across the course to go find my golf ball in the woods or somewhere where I'm pretty far away from the cart. And so that's where the idea was born, and really wanted to not just focus on a golf product, but something that is a lifestyle product to where you can be aware of your surroundings in a hands-free, environment. Obviously there's headphones and earbuds that are out on the market for you to listen to music, but really where you want to listen to music and be aware of your surroundings, as well as enjoy music with your group of friends that are near you. So the Bumpin Belt was born out of that idea, and spent quite a bit of time in the prototyping, design, form, and functionality, so that it was a truly unique product and not not something that was just a portable speaker that clips onto onto a belt or onto anything, your shirt, but really has an intentional use and purpose for sharing music and being in a hands-free fashion and around others that you can share music with. So that's the first product that I launched, and since then I've been working diligently on some other products that can take that same speaker and allow it to magnetically attach to other products. So there's multiple offerings and form factors for folks if they say, hey, you know what, I don't really want to have a belt buckle speaker, but I really like to carry my Yeti or my Stanley and have music with me while I'm boating or at the pool or at the park. We're working on things that are intentionally designed for our speaker to be received into drinkware. So excited about that opportunity in 2026, as well as licensing opportunities. So I'll gladly share more about that. But hopefully that answers your question about my product and brand.
So you've got a day job you like, all right? A lot of inventors do, or the product that they've invented, they're using in their day job, and that's where their expertise is. So, for a lot of inventors, their expertise is not going to market, running a big business. And you were smart enough to realize that up front. It's like, I don't want to be the manufacturer. I don't want to be the seller of this. I'm going to keep my day job, mainly because you need income to help pay for this habit you've got here of inventing. But when you hand it off to somebody else, and that's what we have been working on, and now getting much closer to a deal where somebody else is going to make it and sell it, so you can keep inventing. You can't do everything, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So, prior to this journey, I have had other entrepreneurial endeavors. My background's in technology and data analytics, and truly thankful and love what I do. But when you're about to step over that threshold of saying, "Hey, I have an idea," to actually putting time, effort, and money into that idea, you kind of separate yourself from the pack, right? I'm sure everybody who's on this show, as well as people listening, have had an idea in the past, and they've said, "Oh man, this would be great. I think this would be something that I would use," and that's typically where it stems from. And then if you kind of go down that next path of saying, "Okay, let me research it and see if it's available, or if there's something out there, out in the market today based off my idea," and you don't find it and you start to go further and further, that's one set of skills, right? Is the idea creation, how's it going to look, how's it going to work, the form factor, and then start to go down that path. Once you've brought that product to market, you barely started. You really have barely started in the life cycle of this, and you go into how do I sell it? How do I market it? What are my target? You obviously have looked at what your target markets are ahead of time if you're diligent, but you still don't know that set of skills and learning that along the way, and that's a whole completely different animal.
Well, it
Than
is, and
creating
we
the
had
idea.
we had a lady a couple of years ago, great product, and she thought it would be used in a hot tub, for social activities. Found out that it was much better used in therapy. And she,
Mm.
until we said something about it, and she went to the trade show and said, "Oh, holy cow, let's go after some of those, therapists that use then the hot tubs, and see what we can do." So it's interesting when you're starting to get grown up basically on the different industries, different markets. When do you get to the point where it's like, all right, I need some help. I cannot do this all by myself.
Right, right.
So, it's wonderful to be able to help inventors get there, because everybody, like you said, everybody's had an idea at one point or another and said, okay, this is really cool. But I don't know how to do the heavy lifting. So do you have you've made some and sold some because you saw a guy on a golf course one time have one.
Yeah, absolutely. So we currently, our go-to-market strategy was social media advertising and getting, paying for Facebook and Instagram and TikTok ads, and trying to get our reach out that way, as well as going to some industry shows and trying to find some customers that way. But
Very cool.
the market
So
changes quickly.
It does. And yeah, you know what? We got to go pay some bills, just like any other radio show. Oh, yeah, we've got some bills to pay. So stick with us, everybody. We are going to be back with another inventor to talk about his product in just a few minutes.
If you're an inventor or you know an inventor out there who would just like to be able to have a conversation with other inventors, join the Inventors Roundtable. It's free. The meetings are virtual, so you can be anywhere in America and talk to another inventor. And for a lot of folks out there, understanding the process, being able to ask questions, getting good service provider information is critical to the inventing process. So, got questions? Want to join? It's free. inventorsroundtable.org.
And thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Invent America, because America invents. Been doing it for centuries, and I am sure that we will continue to get new products out there into the consumer's hands that will solve everyday problems. My guest right now is Ron Johansen, and Ron has got a very cool product. Oh my God, I need some of these. We're getting ready to pack a bag. So we are looking at the product called Easy Pack Hangers. I think everybody out there has packed a suitcase, Ron, and had their stuff come out all wrinkled and nasty, and it takes forever to get them put back on a hanger and hung up if the place you're going even has hangers, which is one of the other things that we run into on a regular basis. So tell us, what is Easy Hanger, Easy Pack Hangers?
Well, when I traveled, I always was frustrated at how long it took to pack and unpack and put things on and off of hangers. So I tried to shove the hangers in there on the clothes, and it never worked right. And I realized the real problem is the hook. It's just taking up too much space. And I tried several things, rotating hooks and other things, but I finally came up with having just a strap of cloth between the hanger and the hook. So you could put your clothes on the hanger normally, and the cloth strap would be about 3 inches or so. And you could fold all the clothes together. And then the hook section just flop over the top and not take up any room. And I further found that if you did more than one thing at a time, 2, 3, even 4 shirts, blouses, whatever, they folded in, and they did not have the sharp creases because they were kind of wrapping around each other. So, and when you go to unpack, all you do is grab the hooks and lift it out in one motion and hang it up. So I like to say it's you can go from hanging to packed in under a minute and packed to hanging in seconds.
I heard that on the video, and you're exactly right. A lot of women know you roll your clothes, or you fold them over and they don't come out as wrinkled. A lot of guys don't know that. My husband is one of them. Pack it tight, get it in there. And it's like, no, honey, we are going to need some of these little hanger pieces that just, they're so instinctive, and they're wonderful because, the being able to unpack quickly when you go someplace and not have to worry about ironing. I hate ironing. I don't want to do that. I'm on vacation. So, you've got a really good product there. So tell everybody, you did the smart thing. You went after licensing. How did you come to that conclusion, and what happened?
Well, I didn't want to go through all the pain of trying to market something, inventory and stock and the expense. So I did go the licensing route. And I did find a company, and this was, I think, about 6 years ago. And they licensed it. We negotiated an agreement. But they were a pretty small company, and they just didn't have very good distribution. I got my checks every quarter, but it wasn't great. And actually, that was a version of the hanger that was pretty conventional looking. Okay. Anyway, they filed for bankruptcy about a year ago. And in the meantime, I was working on the hanger, and I improved it. I basically kind of cut the center bottom out so you can hang a tank top on it and then put your blouse over the top of it, which my wife loves. So so now I'm out just starting again to try and license it a second time.
So, and that's really the smart way to go because, one of the things that we've noticed with a licensee is that they've got a faster reach because they've already got relationships with the retailers. And so, an inventor, a lot of times, especially when you've got one product, all right, nobody trusts that you're going to be around a year from now. So, they don't want to put you in, they don't want to give you one SKU number. And yet, when somebody goes in that is a regular supplier to them and they've got 100 products, adding one more to it, they're looking forward to it. And so when we go to ASD Market Week and a lot of these companies come by looking, they want to see what's new. They want to see what's different. They already know what's old. They've been doing that for a long time. So they come shopping in our space to see what is new. What can they grab? And then when you say, well, I'm looking at licenses, who makes these types of products for you? Well, Bob makes these kind of products for me. Let's give him a call. So now that licensee already knows that they have got a buyer on the other end of it, so they're much more likely to do a deal with you. So that is one of the things that, that we really look for then as we're going out there and showing products and getting them out there. And you've got history now. That's good for you.
Well, yeah, it was good. I kind of had into it. I'm a retired engineer and I designed products for 3M for about 35 years and have about 30 patents at 3M. So it's all experience to me. And designing plastic parts is something I've done my whole career. In fact, I do a little bit of consulting on the side for designing and manufacturing plastic parts for other inventors.
Well, and you've got some new products coming down the road. Where are you? We don't want to really talk about what it is, but the process. You're in the process of doing testing. How important is that?
Well, it's always important. As soon as you get it in somebody else's hands that doesn't understand it completely, you learn a lot of things. They may not look at it or use it the way you expect it to be used. So you often have to change the design as you go along. So, and before you go out, there are going to be things wrong with the product, and you really need to work in identifying those. I think it's a mistake that a lot of early inventors make. They come up with a product and a design, and they just lock in on that and don't want to change it. And at our inventors group, I often see them, present their product, and somebody will come up and say, well, I'm concerned about this or that. And they try and defend the whole thing. It's perfect. How can you even say? They should be just encouraging everything negative they can hear about their product so they can refine it and make it better.
You are exactly right. And that is such good information because one of the things that we've had inventors do when they've gone to a show is, and one gentleman, he was so frustrated because he had a price point that was way too high. And, people started making suggestions and he goes, oh, I need to really pay attention to this because they had some really good ideas and it would cost less to manufacture it. And that is where we needed to go. So, I appreciate what you're saying because you're exactly right. You learn, you go out there and you start gathering people's opinions. And sometimes they see things that you didn't see.
Yeah, you really have to encourage them to tell you everything that's wrong with it. I mean, it's just so valuable and so few inventors understand that
they own it and they don't want to say, okay, well, maybe I should have done it this way. And you're exactly right. And so one of the things that we do is help inventors. If anybody's out there and you are an inventor or an inventor, we do the inventor roundtable meetings twice a month. And they're free to attend. You get to ask your questions. Sometimes the best information you get is from an inventor like Ron, who says, no, you need to get out there and do the testing on this. And that's how I met Ron, was at an inventor meeting. So you know what? Go to the meetings, be able to ask the questions, and then tune in because we do these radio shows every single week. It's amazing. There is a Monday 52 times a year, right?
Yeah. And the inventor groups are really valuable. I don't think enough inventors join those because you can get so much valuable information there.
You can.
Not just on your invention, but the whole process.
Absolutely. And you can meet some really good service providers at those meetings, or at least learn the ones to stay away from. So, anyway, we are going to be right back with our industry experts. Stick with us. Ron, thank you so much for being with us today. And again, if you're an inventor out there and you need some help, let me know, because my phone number is everywhere. Give me a call. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Invent America, because America invents. So my guest right now is Mike Ryan. He is our industry expert. He has been working with products for what, 30-ish years, Mike?
Yes, many years.
Yeah, 30 years. And I am on the team for Pronto Launch. So we do help inventors get teed up in a variety of different ways. And I think one of the really cool things about Pronto Launch is the inventor can say, this is where I'm at, this is what I need. And Mike is going to be the one that says, okay, let's work with this. Mike, tell everybody, what is Pronto Launch?
Essentially, Pronto Launch is a growth and skill platform. Unlike anything else in the industry, we have 28 specialized divisions covering anything from sales, marketing, product design, manufacturing. A lot of companies need help with funding. Pretty much you name it, all the critical aspects that a inventor, startup company, existing company will need. We provide a lot of resources that can help them scale things.
I was just going to say, one of the big things that you do that I appreciate is that it's not a cookie cutter endeavor. All right. So when an inventor comes to you and they've got a unique situation, you can say, okay, let's look at what you need and let's look at what we can do and see if we can make an arrangement.
Yeah, whether in the early stage, existing company, we've been reached lately. We have a lot of companies that are in that $1 million to $2 million range. They just don't have the infrastructure to grow it, scaling it. There's a lot of companies, unfortunately, going back to regarding Pronto Launch. It's just our goal, essentially, there's so many products out there that should be successful. They just don't have the wherewithal to get to where they need to get. And that's kind of one of the reasons why we launched Pronto Launch.
Well, and one of the big things that you do is and I know that one of your favorite words is the leverage, because, an inventor, like you said, they're doing everything at that point. Now they need help with either manufacturing, but the biggest challenge is the marketing challenge. And I know you are a big believer in trade shows. Share with our folks out there, why are trade shows so important?
Well, one of my other companies I own is called the Original Safety Siphon. We have the companies to date, it's been around for 49 years. When unfortunately, it's a nightmare for all new inventors. They have a great product, goes out of market, next thing you know, it gets knocked off. It gives people an opportunity. The Original Safety Siphon is an all USA made product. We've gone to hundreds and hundreds of trade shows over the years. It gives people an opportunity to see the product up live. It's a great way to extend in a very minimal way your marketing dollars and reach tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people while selling the product while you're at the show.
And that's one of the things that we've really noticed is that, being able to shake a hand, eye to eye contact, and like Ron said, people that are there and they're saying, oh, this is really cool. What if it did it this way? Yeah. And as the inventor, you go, okay, I didn't really think about that one. You get so much market research. I hate it when inventors tell me they spent, 10, 15, 20 grand on market research when they could have gone to a trade show for $3 and gotten better feedback.
Yeah, going back to the word, as everyone knows me knows, is that to me the most powerful word in the invention industry is the word leveraging. It's one thing that most inventors, even existing companies, lack. What we do is, in fact, one of the things that John mentioned earlier in the segment was that a lot of the inventors have what they call their one-line item companies. I can work with hypothetically 10 different companies, and those 10 different companies working with Pronto Launch. Essentially, we are not only a one-line item company, we can go to our strong network base of people selling, marketing, distribution network, whatever it may be. We're major players in the Amazon industry. we can provide them leverage that they would not be able to do on their own.
Well, I think one of the really cool things that Pronto Launch does is that with the reach of the team, all right, and then we bring a new product in, and that person has got a reach already. Now we start leveraging other products through all the contacts. We all become team players. And I think with a lot of the more traditional licensing companies, even though they're moving product, they tend to have the inventors kind of siloed off. And you are very much about teamwork and where do we all benefit. And that I think really says a lot about Pronto Launch and what you're trying to accomplish.
Yes, we've recently, as you know, we recently had a situation where there's a company had a solid product. They reached out to a very large licensing company, and they weren't able to open up the doors. These companies want to know that they don't want to know just that you have a great product. Do you have the background? Do you have the infrastructure? Do you have the team? We have, Rita, you are, in my opinion, the best licensing person, expert out there in the industry, and I humbly say that. And that's why it's an honor to have you part of our team, whether it's design, manufacturing with Noah McNeely, a product quick start. We struck deals with major industry leaders, develop partnership, and develop a very strong, powerful network so that when we go back to one of the largest licensing company in the sports industry, when he found out after we had a conversation with them, when another company tried to do business with them and they were not able to strike out a deal, knowing that we're Pronto Launch, how we stand, how we market, how we go about doing our business, they have offered and willing to do business with us because of our leveraging.
Yep, and that makes such a difference. I'm really grateful to be part of the team and to be able to work with you guys. I've known Noah for a long time as well. Honestly, he's one of our sponsors of the radio show, and people think he walks on water when they get done with his, he gets done with their prototypes and ships them off, to the trade show with, warm, wonderful prototypes. And we are very grateful to all be working together to get our inventors up to the next point. So everybody, I was going to say, we need to go ahead and get this wrapped up here. Thank you, Mike. I will have you on again because we've got a lot to talk about. Thanks, everyone, for joining us today. We will be back next week with more stories on getting products from mind to market. We will have new inventors and industry experts. So join us and have a wonderful week.